Welcome to Down to Business with V, a show dedicated to bringing you actionable information to help protect you, your families, your businesses, and the community. I'm your host, V, and today we're discussing cyber insights from CyberExperts, UWF's impact on cybersecurity. We've called in a cybersecurity expert from UWF's Center for Cybersecurity to keep you in the know. I'm your host, V. Let's get down to business. From Atlanta, Georgia, to becoming a United States Marine, to Washington, D.C., and every place in between, everybody calls me V. My goal is to bring you resources, education, and knowledge from sources you can trust that informs and protects to safeguard our families, our businesses, and the community. Now let's get down to business. Welcome to Down to Business with V, a show dedicated to bringing you actionable information to help protect you, your families, your businesses, and the community. I'm your host, V, and today we're discussing cyber insights from CyberExperts, UWF's impact on cybersecurity. And today we have in the studio with us from UWF's Center for Cybersecurity, Mr. Anthony Pinto, who teaches graduate and undergraduate courses in computer science and software engineering. He joined the faculty at UWF in 2002 after he earned his Master's of Science in Computer Science from UWF. Mr. Pinto also spent 20 years on active duty with the United States Marine Corps. Hoorah, Devil Dog.
Hoorah.
He also has several years of experience in training in business-related software development and cybersecurity. Mr. Pinto coordinated UWF's successful effort to be designated a National Security Agency National Center for Academic Excellence in Cyber Education. In addition, he is heavily involved in efforts to enhance cybersecurity education in this area, including being a mentor for Cyber Patriot, Cyberthon, as well as a faculty advisor for the UWF Cybersecurity and coach for the Collegiate Cyber Defense Competition. Mr. Pinto, you are very busy. Mr. Pinto's professional training includes Wireshark Advanced Network Analysis and Black Hat certification in Hacking by the Numbers Bootcamp, Hacking by the Numbers Black Ops, pen testing with Kali Linux, locking down Linux, and adaptive red team tactics. It's a mouthful. Welcome, Mr. Anthony Pinto.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us today. Tell us a little bit about what you do at UWF day to day.
So day to day, my main role is a faculty member in computer science department. So in the computer science department, we have a bachelor's in cybersecurity, a bachelor's in computer science, a bachelor's in software design and development, as well as master's in computer science and cybersecurity. So I teach courses. This semester I'm teaching software engineering and a couple of programming courses. In the spring I'll probably teach a malware analysis course, plus some other programming courses, software engineering courses, things like that. So that's my main role. I'm also a faculty fellow in association with the Center for Cybersecurity, and I do things with them related to that CAE, Center of Academic Excellence, that you mentioned. I'm an advisor and a mentor for new schools trying to get that designation, as well as a peer reviewer who reviews their applications that come up to the NSA to get that designation. It's kind of an arduous process and it's pretty detailed. I also help them run some of their summer camps at the center, advise them on other issues, provide student help with some of their outreach programs and research. Help them provide student research as I'm a faculty member, but also the advisor for the Cybersecurity Club, our cybernauts. So we have a lot of students that want to help in pretty much most of the things I do. I'm sure there's other things, but that's most of it.
Yes, you're very, very busy.
Usually.
Yes. So we appreciate you setting aside the time today to do this with us. Share with us a little bit about the history of how cybersecurity came to UWF.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, and since I've been there for a while, I was involved in that. So back in around 2013, there was an IT performance funding that was granted by the governor to some state universities, and we were one of the recipients. So UWF, not me particularly, but worked really hard to get that, because not every state university got that. And so we sat around with some people that were involved, and I had some history with cyber. I had worked part-time in that area, and so I was involved in the group, and we decided to start a cybersecurity program. And one of the members had worked at Huntsville, University of Alabama, Huntsville, and talked about the CAE, the NSA Center of Academic Excellence program, and we said we should go for that. So we started researching, and we started a specialization under computer science in cybersecurity. We got some funding for it, and we built the center, and we got the NSA designation, and then it took off after that.
Wow.
To what it is now.
That's pretty amazing.
So that's kind of the history of it.
Yeah, and you guys, I mean, the program is broad in scope. What you do is broad in scope.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the NSA Center for Academic Excellence designation. And
sure.
You were critical in that process. Tell us about what that is and the process around it.
Yeah, it was probably 25, 26 years ago, at least, the NSA created this program. They were looking at workforce, and that they realized that there was going to be a shortage of IT experts, cyber experts in the future, and they kind of predicted what happened, right? With this explosion in IT, Internet of Things, and the network, that security was going to be a big deal. So they started this program where if colleges, basically the CAE says your college teaches the things that the NSA in association with business and academic think you need to teach, but also there's a criterial aspect where your university also does things that show that they're focused on cybersecurity and not just teaching it. So like, you know, you have programs in place at the university to secure your IT infrastructure. You do research in cybersecurity. You do outreach in cybersecurity. You teach cybersecurity in departments that aren't computer science, like the nursing program with HIPAA, or the GIS program with global positioning, and that kind of thing. Even in the law department, we have courses related to cyber law and terrorist and cyber law and things like that. So that's kind of what the NSA said. So you put all that together, you go through this application process, and it gets reviewed, and you become a Center of Academic Excellence designated by the NSA. What that kind of does is it shows businesses, hey, these students get this designation on their transcripts and a certificate. They match this so businesses know what they've learned, and it's not just some university that says, oh, you did cybersecurity, but maybe you did, maybe you didn't. They have a very good idea of what the curriculum was and what the students know, or at least should know. Yeah,
that's pretty impressive. It's like a backing from a national organization.
Yes.
Credentialing you, saying.
Right. That's basically what it is.
It's their stamp of approval on your program.
Yes, more or less.
I love that. Tell us a little bit about the Center for Cybersecurity, because you explained that the program, the cybersecurity program, and what the Center for Cybersecurity does is a little bit different. Explain that to our audience and how they can take advantage of some of these things.
Okay, so the way a university is normally structured is you have the president and you have the provost, who's in charge of most academics. And under him there are colleges, like UWF has 5 colleges, right? College of Science and Engineering, College of Business, College of Health Sciences, College of Arts, Social Science, and Humanities, I believe, and then there's also College of Professional Studies and Education. And pardon me if I got the names slightly wrong. I don't want anybody to get upset with me. But anyway, under those 5 colleges, there's deans. Each dean runs a college, and then there's departments. So like the College of Science and Engineering is where the computer science department is, along with biology, chemistry, those kinds of things. And that's where the degrees are held. So our computer science, our cyber degrees are in the computer science department currently. The center is also off the provost, but it's a separate organization. The university has several centers. Like I think we have a Center for Aging and Center for Learning. And cybersecurity reports directly to the provost and does other types of things. They don't actually teach 4-credit courses. They have a workforce development grant, for example, where they train veterans and first responders in cybersecurity. Now, it's not necessarily for credit, but they learn and they help them get the skills so they can transition and get jobs. They do research programs. They do some outreach. They've trained Florida officials, like in the IT department, in how to do cybersecurity. They've trained election officials in securing the election IT infrastructure, things like that. They do. So that's kind of the difference, right? They kind of do the stuff that the faculty members really don't have a lot of time to do. Faculty does research, but they're very helpful. And I help bridge the gap because I'm a fellow at the center, so I work with them as sort of like a collateral duty or an extra duty. But since I started the center, I was one of the original members when there was only 2 of us, so I kind of stayed with that.
That's pretty impressive. And
it's a lot of fun. It's
yeah,
really
sounds like
interesting stuff.
Yeah,
never gets boring.
You're doing a lot in the community.
Yes, we are.
I love
the center has exploded. Dr. El Sheikh has really helped that, but it's really large now. It's got a lot of arms and a lot of assets, a lot of people.
That's exciting. And when we come back, we're going to talk more with Mr. Pinto about what UWF is doing and their impact on cybersecurity. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Down to Business with V, a show dedicated to bringing you actionable information to protect you, your families, your businesses, and the community. I am your host, V, and today we're discussing cyber insights from CyberExperts, UWF's impact on cybersecurity. And we have in the studio with us from UWF's Center for Cybersecurity, Mr. Anthony Pinto. Thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome.
We shared a lot, or you shared a lot, in the first segment about what UWF is doing, the history of how cybersecurity came to this particular institution, and all that you're doing in the region. So let's talk a little bit about some of the programs that you had. We talked about the Center for, the NSA, Center for Academic Excellence, which is extraordinary, and you were crucial in bringing that to UWF and getting that designation. Tell us a little bit about UWF's Gen Cyber and how you're raising up the next generation of cybersecurity experts.
Sure. So Gen Cyber is an NSA program, National Security Agency program. It's a grant that schools apply for. I think there was probably close to 100 camps this summer at different universities throughout the country. And so what it's focused on is, as it says, Gen Cyber is teaching kids, like they go to summer camps for soccer and art and different things. So this is a summer camp for cybersecurity. So it's a week-long camp where we introduce them to cyber and we teach them about different aspects of it. But it's very active. Like, we don't sit there and talk. It's not school. We don't want to bore them with details. So we have them practice cybersecurity. We do different types of things. We have a cyber escape room that they go into, have to solve puzzles. We show them some sites, like there's websites called Try Hack Me, where you go and like practice hacking a website, or Hack This Site is another one. We play different kinds of games, forensic games and things like that with them. We've been doing this since around 2016. It's for this year. We did middle school kids. The focus was underrepresented middle school kids. Last year we did a virtual summer camp for Girl Scouts. It was all Girl Scouts. It was virtual. In the past, we've done high school camps and also a combination camps of teachers of middle and elementary school, so that we can teach them enough about cyber so they can pull that down and bring that into their curriculum in some way. So that's all Gen Cyber.
That's pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun teaching summer camp too, because it's like there's no pressure, there's no grades, so you can just kind of have fun. It's very relaxed, and the kids have a good time. Yeah,
I got to see some pictures of that program. Okay. You standing before the kids and kind of sharing information with them, and they were engaged.
They were.
Yeah,
middle school kids are pretty amazing.
Yeah, pretty
high school too, but middle school kids don't quite have the high school attitude yet. So.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about Cyber Club, and what that is.
Okay. So yeah, we started a cyber club back when we first got the degree, back in around 2014, I think it was. So I'm the faculty advisor. So the club is just like any other club at the university. We meet, but rather than just talk, like our students teach, like what the older students present, and it's like a teaching of things that you can do outside of class. So taking what you learned in class and extending it. But the club competes in, there's lots of national and international, local, and competitions. For example, one of them is the CPTC, it's Collegiate Penetration Testing Competition. So penetration testing is where you test the network and attack it. So we competed in the regional last year, finished second. Actually, the last 2 years we finished second. We got invited to Rochester, New York for the international or the global pen testing with 15 other schools, including some international schools, schools like Stanford, Carnegie Mellon, Cal Poly was there, things like that. Tennessee Tech was there. So very, very competitive, and we did that. We also do some local events. We went to Fort Lauderdale. The NSA sponsored a team to go down there. And so we get to travel. You know, I had to go with them to Fort Lauderdale. Somebody had to go, so I had to go with them. We do we do a little bit of outreach, but it's mostly to get the students involved in something outside of class, because that's really where you learn this kind of stuff, because it's very complicated. It requires a lot of critical thinking skills. And in a classroom environment, you try to do that some, but you can't really present things that there's no answer to. But in competitions or in practice, there may not be an easy answer. You have to figure it out, be creative. And so that's where this brings out. And a lot of those kids love it. They just like live that stuff.
Yeah.
So
sounds exciting.
It is pretty exciting. And we use those students for, if like a faculty member needs research at the center or at the university, or if we need an outreach, we use a lot of those students will volunteer or get paid to do that as well.
Wow, that's, and I mean, it serves kind of like, I wouldn't say credit to the students, but this is something they could put on resumes.
Of course.
Resume building.
Right, a lot of businesses say, like, what else did you do besides go to class? And they can say, I competed in these competitions is a big deal. If you have a second to at the CPTC, we went in Rochester, there's businesses around there that come through and talk to the students. And I had one student, we had a 4-man team up there because one person couldn't make it. He got an internship through that in Chicago last summer and was paid $31 an hour as an intern plus a housing allowance to work in Chicago over the summer. And they basically told all the students, if you want to work for us, you got a job because you're here. So send your resume, we'll give you a job when you graduate.
Wow. Now that's setting up.
And most of the
students.
competitions are like that. Businesses want to see people like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Setting them up for success and giving them real world experience.
Yes.
To move forward. That's exciting. I know you guys have at UWF a Cyber Ambassador program. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay, so Cyber Ambassadors run out of the center. Mr. Guy Garrett runs that. But it's been going on for a while. So what that is we have 2 or 3 students that if middle school or high schools ask them, they'll come to like a class or an assembly and talk about cyber awareness, but also do things like they'll show them how you hack a cell phone. They'll have a cell phone set up with a computer, and they'll kind of demonstrate some of the things you can do to hack the phone or to hack a website. They even get some of the kids involved in teaching them, and it's an active program. So if any high schools or middle schools are interested, they can contact Center for Cybersecurity and see if they can set that up.
Yeah,
and those are usually our students. Those are my students or our students from the club and stuff that have this extra role. They get paid a little for it, depending on their hours as well.
Yeah, that's exciting. And I love that you shared how they get involved as well, like how an educational program or someone would get involved in this educational program with you guys.
Yes, sure.
At UWF. Cyber Patriot. Tell us about that.
Okay, so Cyber Patriot's a national, semi-international competition learning format. It's run by the Air Force Association. but they had like a huge grant from like Northrop Grumman, like, and so it's, I think the last time I looked, there was like 3,500 teams involved. And so what it is, it's a defense competition for high school and middle school kids where there's several layers of the competition. There's like a couple of qualification rounds, then there's a state round, like a regional or semifinals, and a national round. And so the teams of 4 or 5, and there's usually can be up to 5 for each school, they get images of either computers or servers, and they have to secure them, and they get points every time they do something to this image that makes it better, like change the password complexity or set up a firewall. They get points, and they compete nationally, and the top teams get to go to Washington. The top 12 teams get to go to Washington for a national competition. But it's a lot more about education too, because there's training modules and stuff like that. So we have a team, Pine Forest High School has had a team has teams since 2014, and I've been their technical mentor. So they have a coach that's a faculty member, but then you have a technical mentor or two that goes and helps the kids, teaches them different things. And so what we've done is on the day of the competition, which is usually a Friday, they come to UWF and they get to use one of our labs to actually set the images up and do the competition rather than do it at Pine Forest. So it's like a field trip. We've also had the ROTC team from Gulf Breeze come out. A couple of years ago, we had 2 teams from Catholic. We also had a team come out a couple of times, a middle school team from Bellevue Middle, because they have a cyber academy there as well. And so the kids get to come to the university and compete and see what it's like to be at a university and buy food at the snack bar and just have a good time.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. Now, I noticed a lot of the programs that you mentioned, the students would have to be enrolled in a program with the high school or the middle school in order to participate. Is that the same with Gen Cyber in the summer camp?
No, Gen Cyber, the way that works is if we get the grant, which we've gotten them just about every year, we'll put out we'll put out advertisements online, but also like send it to the schools, IT departments, or the workforce development at Escambia County or Santa Rosa, and let them know, hey, this is what's going on, here's how you register, go online, register, and we'll fill up the camps with, I think, 35 each week. So anybody, they don't have to be part of any program or anything, we'll just, depending on how many kids we get, we'll select them and they get to come.
Okay, and what's the age group for Gen Cyber?
Well, it's either middle school or high school. So you usually pick one or the other. Like middle school is usually rising 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and high school is usually rising 9th through 12th.
Wow, amazing. Mr. Pinto, as we wrap up today, you started this journey almost 21 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You said that, you thought you'd come in and teach and see how it went.
Yeah, for a few years.
For a few years. Look at all of the things you've accomplished here. Tell me what this does for you to make this type of impact in this community.
I know, I've always, even when I was in high school, I always thought I wanted a job that would be fulfilling but help people. You know what I mean? I never thought I wanted a job just as like, thank God it's Friday, oh God it's Monday kind of thing. I wanted something that was interesting to me, and I always had a sort of a philanthropy type of attitude. I remember in high school I was telling people I was going to be a multimillionaire and give it away. That didn't work out, but still. So I really liked that. And one of the things I found during COVID, we were all on Zoom mostly. And it was okay, you're home, so it's easy to teach, but you don't interact. Once I got back to the classroom, I realized, well, this is why I did this. It's fun to be in the classroom with the students. You get to talk to them, mess with them a little bit, joke with them a little bit, teach them, see the expressions on their face when they learn things, and hear their appreciation, hear their complaints, and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a fun job. I really like it. Yeah. So it's good for me. It's very good. I'm glad I chose it over. I had some choices when I decided to do that, and had some influence from someone I really trust, and I picked this, and I'm glad I did.
I'm glad you did as well. And I will say intellectual philanthropy is the greatest gift you could ever give.
I guess so.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Anthony Pinto from the UWF Center for Cybersecurity. We certainly do appreciate you.
You're welcome. Enjoyed being here.
I'd like to thank our guest, the esteemed professor, Mr. Anthony Pinto from UWF's Center for Cybersecurity. Thank you so much for sharing your insight and expertise with us today. We certainly do appreciate you. If you or someone you know has been a victim of a data breach, an account compromise, or any type of cybercrime, be sure to contact your local police or visit the FBI at ic3.gov. Also, be sure to visit our sponsors, Vicar Group, LLC. They are business consultants for Generation U. You can visit them at www.vicargroup.com. If you would like to sponsor the show, be a guest on the show, or have show ideas, be sure to visit our website at dtbwithv.com. I'd like to thank you for tuning in today, and I'd also like to thank our crew here at the show, Hannah, Eric, Peter, Stephen, Suzanne, and Doug, for all that you do to make this show possible. We certainly do appreciate you. I am V. This is Down to Business with V. We will see you next time.